What if I told you that 50% of Americans actually feel closer to their partner in long distance situations? That was sourced from the New York Post, and I'm here to tell you that those 50% of Americans are right. Hi, my name is Caitlin, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about long distance relationships and their problems. Today I'm going to be talking to you about long distance relationships, their problems, my long distance relationships and my personal problems with it, and helps and fixes on to how to fix that. So my boyfriend and I have been dating for roughly about a year now. Initially we didn't start off long distance. We ended up getting into the long distance thing later in life. We started off living roughly 30 minutes away from each other. I lived in Rancho at the time and he lived in Loma Linda, and then I moved to Ontario, which made it more like 35-40 minutes away, right? Not too bad. Now college enrollment comes around. I go to the University of Laverne in the city of Laverne, and he went to Cal State San Marcos, all the way in San Marcos, which is roughly around San Diego area, Escondido, Temecula. Those are like the surrounding areas and cities to San Marcos. That is roughly 80 to 85 miles from my house, making it about a 2 to 2.5 hour drive depending on traffic, very give or take. And when we entered into this long distance situation, we went from seeing each other 3 to 4 times a week to once a week, if not once every other week. And it kind of took a toll on us because we wanted to see each other, but we physically couldn't, and just time management and with school, it just wasn't a possibility, because even outside of school, we both have very busy lives. I work full-time as well as go to school, and he goes and looks after his grandparents and helps out his mom, who is disabled, in his free time when he does end up coming home from school. So life gets in the way. The biggest problem that we had felt affect us was communication. Communication became a big issue between us because we didn't have a lot of time to actually talk, either on the phone or in text. Everything was long and in between and drawn out because I had school and work, and he had his family and he had school, and he was dorming, he was doing things in person, and it became an issue that really affected us actually, for a time being, because there was a lot of miscommunication, and miscommunication leads to fights, it leads to problems, and it leads to not so pretty things in relationships. Now, that being said, those problems that we had, are the one that I had mentioned, is actually fairly common. There's a couple of them that affect many relationships. Now, I'm going to talk about a couple of challenges that most couples face in time, right? So one of the biggest things that couples face is jealousy. Jealousy is one of the number one things that long distance couples actually, unfortunately, happen to fall under. It could be something as simple as being jealous about your partner going out with friends more than they go out with you, or hanging out with their coworkers more than they hang out with you. Now, the thing about this is it's not on purpose. It's because if they're in long distance, the area that they're in, they still want that human interaction. So obviously they're going to hang out with other people. But unfortunately, it kind of affects us because we feel like, as their partner, having our significant other hang out with other people more than they hang out with us can be detrimental. It hurts, it sucks, and it is what it is. The next major leading one is insecurity. Insecurity could be just not feeling important enough for your partner. You can feel that in long distance relationships you overthink, and something as simple as just the distance and not being able to physically do anything could be looked at and taken out of context as lack of effort. So it's hard in the sense of traditional things to show love and interest and affection has to be kind of manipulated into a more long distance reality. So if for them, showing affection and showing that they are important to you is going out on dates, and you have to find a medium for that, like virtual movie night, watching a movie together virtually, or playing a game virtually over the phone or something like that. Just putting in, small little things, the effort, that is what really matters. Now, lack of communication. Communication is key. It is the bread and butter to everything, right? Now, in long distance relationships, people may initiate conversations to talk about their day, what's happening in their lives, stay in touch. But the one thing that they'll forget to do is to talk about what is really important, which is how they feel in the current situation that they are in. What are their struggles? What is something that they are having trouble with? What are they thinking about? What is in their mind? What is going on? Are they overthinking? Are they not thinking much about it? Does it not bother them at all, or does it bother them a lot? These are conversations that you need to have with your significant other in order to truly get past it. Now, there are easy fixes to all of this, as daunting as they may seem. If you're feeling jealous, iCallHotline.org actually suggests that being honest about your jealousy can help manage your relationship better. As far as insecurity is concerned, people say that it is advisable for partners to dedicate time for future goals, whether it'll be dates, or they can even talk about stuff that's maybe more serious for relationships, like what your future looks like. Do you plan on moving in together? Do you want to make plans to move in together? Do you want to get married? What is in the future for you? Because those types of conversations can help give a sense of reassurance and security to the other partner. Now, one problem that I forgot to mention, because it doesn't exactly have a fix, is one of the really bad drawbacks to being in a long distance relationship is lack of physical touch and physical intimacy. Now, this can mean two things. It can be wholesome, or it can be, the birds and the bees. But specifically talking about the wholesome stuff, simple things like hugging and holding hands and cuddling and stuff like that, or the lack of it, can just really affect someone mentally, because one of the things that we crave when we're in a situation is to be with them, to be present with them. Even their presence can have dramatic effects on how we choose to feel. Like, we sometimes are happier when our partners are around, and I feel like that goes for most people. But one of the biggest things that I want to talk about is being open to change. Life happens. Life gives you lemons, and I feel like that's the most honest way that I can put it, is just when change happens, even though we may not like change, we may not want change, but when it does happen, we need to be able to understand that it is what it is, and we can't really fix it. We have to learn to adapt and overcome, and there's not really much else to it, because if we try to lash out intentionally or unintentionally at our partner, that can hurt. It could be hurtful on both sides, and it could potentially lead to breakups. I know that there's a huge percentage of people that have broken up. I know that Forbes did a study on how many people have broken up since COVID had started, and that was because they had lacked certain good relationship tendencies. They had more depression and mental health issues when they lacked good relationship qualities, and the people who had good relationship qualities who actually thrived more because they were able to adapt to change. So being open to change is one of the biggest things. Now, in a relationship, there are three major components that we want to talk about, right? So the first major component in a relationship is, according to the book of Smart Partners, building a successful relationship in platonically, romantically, or in business. The thing that you want to do is you want to have a need or a want that is more compelling than the issue at hand. So the best way I can describe this is, if you're having a struggle, an obstacle, or something like that, you need to find something to focus on, a hope, a desire, a need, or a want that can help you overlook this. Like, good examples for school. Let's say you don't like to go to school, right? But you really want to be in a certain profession. That need to be in that profession could be more compelling than the struggle of not liking getting up for classes. That's the best way that I can describe it. I want to say, I'm kind of blanking out right now. If your goal is to create a relationship that is based off of trust. The best thing for you to do is to have honesty. Honesty is key. That and communication. Communication, like I said earlier, is the bread and butter of everything. And that is what's really going to get you through a long distance relationship, is being able to openly communicate about your needs, your wants, and your struggles. Now, with all that in mind, those three main components to a relationship told by the book of Smart Partners is the best way for you to be able to get over any obstacle that you may have in a long distance relationship. Thank you for listening to my speech today.